Hi, I'm Harry Yang, and I'm here to talk about two different types of version control systems, centralized and distributed. Now, in my development endeavors, I've been fortunate enough, or unfortunate enough, depending on who you ask, to try out and use various types of software development tools. I've had cases where everything just seemed to work, and other times not so much. It's the same experience I've had with version control systems, and the reason why I prefer a distributed one over a centralized one. So, a little background. Normally, in a traditional version control system, which most of you are accustomed to, the source code is hosted and managed in a centralized location, hence the name centralized. Any changes to that source code has to be first checked out, locked, so nobody else can overwrite your enhancements, and check back in with your changes. Every developer has to share the network in order to make any modifications, which means all changes, merges, conflict resolutions, history, and tagging are only able to be conducted at the centralized location and only with an active network connection. You can probably see how the whole process is very linear. Developers must wait and wait and wait some more to synchronize any updated code first before they can complete and commit their desired changes. And because of the nature of being centralized, if disaster strikes, such as someone, I won't say who, breaks the build, or if the network goes down, it becomes very difficult to complete any actual development work. Despite all this, using a centralized system is perfectly adequate when you're working on a project and the entire team consists of, well, you. Alright, so moving forward. A more modern version control system, such as a distributed one, helps mitigate a lot of the issues raised from the centralized version. Like in a centralized system, you'll probably start off with the main repository, and from here you can fork and create copies of that repository. Right now you're probably thinking, big deal, so what? We had that before. What else can it do? Well, the difference here is that each copy is its own repository in itself. It's your own personal playground sandbox that you can fork again, clone as much as you want, experiment with, or even conduct parallel development, which is something that couldn't be done really easily before. And you can do all this without interfering with the main repository or any other repository, although you do have to share eventually. It's probably the reason why they call it social coding. Each repository will have the ability to track history, support tagging, in addition to pushing and pulling specific changes to any other repository, with the assumption you have the correct permissions, of course. The benefit here is that you can merge, resolve conflicts, review, and test new functionality, all before requesting the changes to be pulled to a main tier repository. Each of the changes can then be reviewed before it is accepted or rejected, and switching between copies of your changes or anybody else's changes is a breeze. The only time you need the network for any of the features described previously is for pushing or pulling purposes, so the whole experience is very fast. After seeing this presentation, I hope it makes you want to migrate away from a centralized system to a distributed one, assuming you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching.